This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, June 17, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. QQQ is down 1.9% at $729.86, hitting a 5-day low, while SPY struggles near $750.33. Gold prices are rising to $2,350/oz, and the dollar is holding strong. The market is showing signs of stress, with a flattening yield curve and a VIX that's still below 17. But one voice nailed the last call, SPECTER, called QQQ to 729.86, and others were wrong. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, you were wrong on QQQ, called it bullish, but it dropped 1.9% to $729.86. What'd you miss?
I assumed the tech sector would hold, but the broader market weakness and weak volume told a different story. I didn't factor in the dollar's strength and gold's safe haven bid.
Grid, your call was also wrong, bullish on QQQ, but it fell 1.9% to $729.86. What did you miss?
I focused on SPY's 50-day moving average and didn't account for the sector rotation. Financials and materials are outperforming, but tech is under pressure. I missed the shift.
CIPHER, you called it bullish on QQQ as well, but the market moved against you. What did you miss?
I thought the earnings momentum would push the index higher, but the flat yield curve and rising inflation expectations dragged it down. I didn't see the macro shift coming.
SPECTER, you were right, called QQQ to 729.86, and it hit that number. What did you get right?
I focused on the yield curve flattening and the rising dollar, which signaled a risk-off environment. That pressure hit the tech-heavy index the hardest.
Apex, you were wrong again, bullish on QQQ, but it fell 1.9% to $729.86. What did you miss?
I missed the sector rotation and the macro signals that were already in place. I overemphasized the earnings momentum and underestimated the broader risk-off environment.
Let's talk about the macro context. The VIX is at 16.2, below 20-day average, but the yield curve is flat at plus 0.38 pp. The dollar is up 0.61% week over week at 119.51, and gold is rising to $2,350/oz. SPECTER, what does this mean for the market?
The flattening yield curve and rising gold prices signal a shift in risk appetite. The market is becoming more cautious, and that pressure is hitting tech stocks the hardest. The dollar is also holding strong, which is another headwind.
Pulse, what's the sentiment like here?
The fear and greed index is at 52, which is neutral. The put/call ratio is at 0.85, so it's not a panic. But there's a divergence, bullish coverage on FANG names, but bearish on meta and micro strategy. That's a key sign of a mixed market.
CIPHER, what's your take on the earnings and flows?
JBL is up 7.8% pre-market after beating estimates, but EXR is down 4.7% due to insider selling. The market is reacting differently to earnings, and that's creating a mixed picture. The dollar is also holding, which is a headwind for earnings.
Let's talk about QQQ. It's at $729.86, down 1.9%, hitting a 5-day low. Grid, what's your take on the technicals?
QQQ is near its 5-day low at $729.86, and the 10-day range is $686.37–$748.65. The volume is declining, which suggests the market is losing interest. If it breaks below $720, that could be a key trigger for further weakness.
SPECTER, you challenged that. What's your take on the support levels?
I agree that the 5-day low is a key level, but I think the 10-day low at $686.37 is a better target for a deeper correction. The volume is declining, and that's a sign of a weak move. If it breaks below $686, the market could see a more extended decline.
CIPHER, what's your view on the flow data here?
The flow data shows a rotation out of tech and into financials and materials. That's a sign of a shift in market sentiment. The sector rotation is real, and it's not just a short-term move, it's a sign of a broader shift in risk appetite.
Let's move to SPY. It's at $750.33, down 0.6%, near its 50-day moving average. Grid, what's your technical take?
SPY is near its 50-day moving average, and the 10-day range is $722.59, $758.80. If it breaks below $750.33, it could test the $749.88 support level. But the 50-day moving average is still a key level. If it holds, the market could stabilize.
Pulse, what's the sentiment like here?
The sentiment is neutral, but there's a shift in the flow. Institutional investors are moving into materials and financials, which is a sign of caution. The fear and greed index is at 52, which is neutral, but the flow data suggests a more cautious market.
CIPHER, what's your take on the fundamentals?
The fundamentals are mixed. The yield curve is flattening, which is a sign of caution, but the earnings are still holding up in some sectors. The dollar is strong, which is a headwind for earnings. The market is in a cross-current of macro and sectoral pressures.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on QQQ. Let's dig into that. You said the 10-day low is a better target than the 5-day low. Why?
Because the 10-day low is a more significant level. It's the lower end of the range. If the market breaks below that, it could signal a more extended correction. The 5-day low is important, but the 10-day low is a deeper level of support.
I understand the logic, but the 5-day low is a more immediate target. The market has been moving down, and the 5-day low is a key level that's already been tested. If it holds, the market could stabilize, but if it breaks, the 10-day low is next.
CIPHER, what's your take on this?
I agree with both of you. The 5-day low is important, but the 10-day low is a deeper level. The market is in a downtrend, and the flow data supports that. If it breaks below $720, the market could see a more extended correction.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target $720 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target $720 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target $720 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target $720 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target $720 by next session.
The consensus is clear. QQQ is bearish, and the 5-day low at $729.86 is a key level. If it breaks below $720, that could signal a deeper correction. Watch for the 10-day low and the flow data to confirm the trend. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.